election cycle, we saw the rise of bigotry, of anti-immigrant sentiment, of anti-Semitism, of anti-Muslim hate. We see the rise of racial xenophobia, sex discrimination, anti-environmental rhetoric. We have seen a rise in the acceptable and normalized misogyny. For Muslims, it's been especially difficult. We've had a primary season where the race questioned whether Muslims can be trusted, whether they should even be allowed in this country, whether they can be in office. We saw a campaign that included sentiments that the U.S. is a Judeo-Christian nation, meaning that Islam had no place here, that Muslims should be rounded up and tracked through a registry, creating unequal citizenship, that mosques should be closed. Essentially, people, when they were running for office in this past year, believed that America should exclude Muslims from the definition of what it means to be America. And we have seen the end result. According to the FBI, anti-Muslim hate crimes are up 67%. 71% of those are against individuals that look like me. Assault, attempted murder, stabbings. And just yesterday, as the inauguration was coming to a close, we saw protesters gather outside of mosques saying, "Muslims go home." And yet, Muslim Americans have been part of the very fabric of this country since the start. Muslim American servicemen and women have fought in every war, going back to the Revolutionary War. Yes, there were Muslims that fought in the Revolutionary War, in the War of 1812, and in the Civil War, and World War I, and World War II, and in Korea, and in Vietnam, and in the Gulf War, and in the current war on terror, as Americans for America. Muslim American women, 20% of whom Muslim American slaves, 20% of whom were women, were brought from Africa. And today, Muslim American women are the most highly educated minority group in this country. This is our country. This is my country. This is our heritage as Americans. And so our response is to look forward, to continue fighting for a government that represents us, to send a very clear message about what we are and where we are going. We are together. We are ensuring that America stays together. We reject the fear, the hate, the open racism that has become normalized. This is not the first time we have felt darkness or uncertainty, or that real trials will befall us that will question our commitment to American values of pluralism, equality, and freedom, values that make America great. And while the president harkens back to a mythical past he wants to go back to, let us not forget that we as women don't have the luxury of going back. We cannot go back. People of color cannot go back. Natives cannot go back. Minority communities cannot go back. This country cannot go back. We will What we do know about our past is that there have always been people who stood up and said, "Not in our name." This is our America. When we start talking about people based on categories and the categories they belong to, we diminish ourselves. And this is what we've seen over the past year. We are the authors of our destiny. We will not go back, and no matter how dark it gets, we will be the light for each other. We will not let the darkness consume our country. That's when we stop the hate. We are coming together for those values of equality and dignity for all. We are here. voice to the voiceless. We will go to where laws are made. We will go to our own state house and talk about education and talk about a living wage and talk about voter rights and talk about reproductive rights and equal pay and stop the announcement this morning of the repeal of the Violence Against Women Act. And we are a nation of immigrants that will stand for immigrant rights. We will fight here in Trenton. We will go to D.C. and we will not stop. This community is looking forward. And if you ever doubted the greatness of this country, of this land, of America, then look around you. This is we the people, you and I. This is what makes America great. It is we. Left and right, or Democrat and Republican, or liberal and conservative. We will use the language of justice, of we the people, of we the people of these United States. And while we have yet to see a woman in the White House, and while we have an incoming administration that has appointed less women and less people of color than any administration of the past 30 years, while women's rights are under attack, and while there are those that want to return to a time where women were silent and women were window dressing, women, my sisters, I leave you with the words of Coretta Scott King. Women, she says, if the soul of the nation is to be saved, I believe you must become its soul. You must become its soul. You, us. Women must unite. This is our moment. And so we are here, we will be heard, and we will not be silenced. And to the president, who questioned whether women who look like me, Muslim women, whether we can be heard, here's my answer. Can you hear me now? Can you